Good evening. In a moment, our exclusive report on how federal government funding cuts are affecting legal services for Indigenous Australians. And later tonight, the rise of minor parties and independents. Is it good for democracy?
There are more crossbenchers in the Senate than at any other time in Federation. It's a difference between tackling an entry-level Sudoku puzzle or an oversized Rubik's Cube.
Before the last election, Tony Abbott promised if he won, he'd take personal responsibility for Indigenous affairs.
It is my hope that I could be not just a Prime Minister, but a Prime Minister for Aboriginal affairs.
So Aboriginal leaders were a little taken aback when the PM said living in remote communities was a lifestyle choice. Mr Abbott was defending the West Australian government's plan to shut down 150 remote settlements. Now Indigenous advocates are warning of another hit, a 17% cut to Aboriginal legal services. They've told the ABC some services will be forced to close, meaning some people won't have any access to legal advice. The ABC Social Affairs correspondent Norman Hermant has our story.
My name's Gary Trindle. I'm a field officer for the Aboriginal Legal Service. We're the go-between person, always the go-between between the solicitors and the clients, the police and the clients, the court and the clients. We're also there to make sure that everybody's treated fair and above board.
Gary Trindle is on the road. The court circuit in the central west of New South Wales is back in Coonabarabran. No sooner than he hits town, Gary is tracking down clients of the Aboriginal Legal Service, the ALS.
Our people have to understand exactly what's going on. They have to be told in triplicate. Well, some people have to be told in triplicate. You know, our lawyers explain things to them, and then they come to me and say, "What was the lawyer talking about?" I've got no idea what the lawyer was talking about.
That's just going to make it hard.
Mitchell is like many clients the ALS represents. He's been in trouble with the law before. On this day, he faces a hearing on assault and affray charges.
I'm Nick Roach.
Even with the ALS on side, it doesn't end well. Mitchell received an 18-month sentence. The maximum was 5 years. At the regional offices of the ALS in Dubbo, the priority is making sure every Aboriginal person facing court is represented. But managers are bracing for federal budget cuts that they say will make that impossible. In New South Wales and the ACT, up to 17% of the budget could be lost on July 1st.
There is no fat on the bone for us to cut without cutting frontline services. And that's where the impact is really going to hit.
Because of the funding, we're going to be down about 40 positions.
Just cutting staff.
News of the looming budget cuts is spreading in Aboriginal communities across the state. In Coonabarabran, Aboriginal leaders say the impact will be felt immediately.
And I don't know what our people are going to do, because from the start you see the face, you see Gary, you know that you can go and talk to Gary and you can talk to him in our language, in our blackfella language, instead of all the jargon. And then you feel safe, and you know that you're going to be supported by a very good lawyer.
Roderick Rutley and Jason Russell have long legal histories. Both have served time in custody, and both say the ALS has been a lifeline.
You know, I'm 45, you know, and I went to jail last year, and I know what's it like in jail, because, like, just totally different, like, in jail, but I suppose, you know, the legal aid, you know, if we haven't got the legal aid, we'll have nothing.
It's not fun trying to stand in court and stand up for yourself, because I've tried it once and it was the most scariest experience in my life, and I ended up, didn't turn out too good for me. But if I did have that Aboriginal liaison help there, it would have been good.
So what does it make you think the possibility that some of that help that exists now may not be there?
It's a very, very scary thought for the next couple of generations that are coming through.
The concern is being felt across the country. In Alice Springs, the Central Australian Aboriginal Legal Aid Service is already grappling with a 25% budget cut. With another 7 to 9% set to go, the Chief Justice of the Northern Territory has warned about the potential impact.
He's indicated that without the legal services funded to their current levels, there's going to be havoc in terms of the way that the courts are operating. So, look, in some circumstances, there's potential that will just bring court systems to almost to a grinding halt, and people won't be able to be processed. So I think what we're looking at is complete disarray.
Back in Coonabarabran, across from the courthouse and the busy truck route linking Melbourne and Brisbane, is the modest accommodation of the ALS lawyers who cover this part of New South Wales. Before the dinner crowd heads in, there's a chance to review the cases coming up. Both of these lawyers are worried that these cuts will jeopardize the ability of the ALS to do its job.
I think it's vital, really. A lot of the people we represent, if we weren't there to represent them, they wouldn't have a lawyer.
I'm scared that there's going to be one type of justice for people who live in metropolitan Sydney and another type of justice for people who live in remote communities in remote New South Wales. And that's not, in my opinion, a perfect legal system. It's far from perfect, and it's just not acceptable.
One of the biggest concerns here is that the first thing to go will be ALS representation of clients who are accused of minor criminal matters. That could mean people will plead guilty or receive sentences that are more serious than they would if they had representation, and that could lead to big problems down the road. That's something Jason Russell knows all about. He's heading to court to face a charge for driving without a license. He's been convicted of that offence before, and he's nervous.
You don't know what's going to happen when you go in there, and yeah, it can go south really quick for you if you don't communicate with your lawyers and that properly. And yeah.
Jason Russell.
Yep.
I'm Nick from the Aboriginal Legal Services. How you going?
Mate, Jason heads into court facing the possibility of jail. He emerges with a 3-year driving ban, but no custodial sentence. Thanks, he says, to the ALS.
They helped me out a great deal today, and yeah, it made my day in court much easier. It's something that if it wasn't there, I'd hate to see some of the sentencing that the Indigenous people would go through if they weren't there to help.
I asked you a question or something.
For Gary Trindle, that's what his job is all about. It's not lost on him that his field officer position could be one of those eliminated if the cuts go ahead. With court done for the day, he heads home, not knowing how much longer he'll be doing this.
I'd like to be optimistic and say that everything's going to be okay, but I don't think I'm going to be right, and I'd like to sort of leave it at that.
He takes great pride that his service provides legal assistance for all Aboriginal people facing court. It's something the ALS may not be able to do in the future.
Sam Clark was the producer on that story, and we did ask the Attorney-General George Brandis for an interview, but he declined that request. His spokesperson said that over the next 4 years, the government had committed $1.3 billion to support frontline legal services for vulnerable Australians.